Right, you are welcome back to Selexborn tutorial platform, and in this video we will take a look at trigonometric angles. So my dear student, you're officially welcome to the first session of this first unit of this course. And in this session we will learn definitions of trigonometric angles and degree measure of angles. So relax and enjoy the beauty of trigonometry. Our objectives for today's video's lesson is 1. By the end of this session, you will be able to define trigonometric angles and degree measure of angles. 2. You will be able to convert between decimal degrees, minutes, and seconds. Let's take the definition for angles. What is an angle? What is an angle? We are saying that an angle is formed by rotating a ray around its endpoint. Okay? We form an angle when we rotate a ray around its endpoint. An angle consists of two rays in a plane with a common endpoint. The two rays are called the sides of the angle. Okay? So the starting position or the starting side is called the initial side. That is the original position where the ray was lying before it turns or before it was rotated to another position. That particular position is called the initial side of the angle. And where it ends is also termed as the terminal side. Now, the endpoint of the angle is called the vectors. The endpoint of the angle is called the vectors. Right. So let's consider the figures on the screen. In figure 1.1, you see that there is a particular angle formed. And we have the initial side, the terminal side, and the vectors. Okay. Right. So this is the initial side. We have the terminal side and the vectors. And a particular angle is formed here. But you should take note, there is a specific direction to that angle. And the direction involved here is anti-clockwise direction. And let's consider figure 1.2. Figure 1.2, there is an angle formed here. In anti-clockwise direction. So we have the initial side and we have the terminal side and the vectors. Okay. Alright. So this gives us two types of angles. So the first one that we will talk about is the positive angle. Positive angles. When do we say an angle is positive? We say that an angle is positive if it is generated by a counterclockwise rotation. Another word for counterclockwise rotation is anticlockwise rotation. Okay, so in figure 1.3, there is a positive angle formed here. Why? Because the angle is formed in counterclockwise rotation or anticlockwise rotation. So there is a positive angle formed in figure 1.3. Let's also consider the figures on the screen. So this talks about another type of angle, that is negative angle. When do we say an angle is negative? An angle is negative if it is generated by a clockwise rotation. Then we say that particular angle is a negative angle is a negative angle. Then another concept that we will talk about in this video is the standard position. When do we say an angle is in standard position? We say an angle is in standard position when it has its initial side coinciding with the positive x-axis with its vectors at the origin. Okay, so an angle is said to be in a standard position when the initial side of that particular angle formed lies on the positive x-axis. So let's consider figure 1.5 and 1.6. In figure 1.5, you will see that the initial side lies on the positive x-axis. Okay, so since the initial side lies on the positive x-axis and its vertex lies at the origin, we see that the angle formed is in standard position. In figure 1.6, you can see that the initial side lies on the positive x-axis. That is the initial side where the pointer is the initial side. Okay, and this is the vectors. So since it satisfies the condition under standard position, we say that the angle formed in figure 1.6 is also in a standard position. So let's talk about degree measure. The most common unit for measuring angles is degree. That is the common unit that we all know in measuring angles from JHS to SHS to university. We all know that the common unit for measuring angle is degree. So we have been saying 40 degrees, 15 degrees, 90 degrees. So this is the common unit for measuring angles. That is the degree measure. It was developed by the Babylonians, that is 4,000 years ago. And to use this degree measure, we assign 360 or 360 degrees to one complete rotation. Okay, when you rotate a ray from its initial side or from its initial position and end at the same position, then you complete a rotation. Okay, so we say that we assign 360 degrees to one complete rotation. Also, we assign 1 degree. Okay, we assign 1 degree to 1 out of 360 rotation. So we had this ratio from the first one. Okay, if you have 360 degree to 1 complete rotation, then 1 degree will also represent 1 out of 360 rotation. Also, 90 degrees represents 1 out of 4 of a complete rotation. So you have to take note of all this. And this one also talks about 180 degrees representing 1 out of 2 of a complete rotation. If an angle has measure greater than 0 degrees but less than 90 degrees, then it is called an acute angle. An acute angle is formed when the angle is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, or when the angle is greater than 0 degrees but less than 90 degrees. That is acute angles. So an example is shown on the screen. Considering figure 1.7, the angle formed here, the angle theta formed here is an acute angle. Why? It is greater than 0 but less than 90 degrees. 2. If an angle has measure greater than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees, then it is called an obtuse angle. So figure 1.8 talks about an obtuse angle. Why? The angle formed here, the angle theta formed here is greater than 90. Is greater than 90 but less than 180. It is greater than 90 but less than 180. So this is an example of obtuse angle. Then 3. If an angle has measured exactly 90 degrees, then it is called right angle. So figure 1.9 is an example of a right angle. Then 4. An angle that has measure equal to 180 degrees is called a straight angle. So the figure below shows an example of a straight angle or adjacent angle. Right. So if the sum of the measures of two positive angles is 90 degrees, then the two angles are called complementary angles. So take note, we are saying that if the sum of the measures of two positive angles is 90 degrees, then the two angles are called complementary angles. 2. If the sum of the measures of two positive angles is 180 degrees, then the two angles are called supplementary angles. So there is a mistake here. It should be 180 degrees. So let me make that correction on the screen. It should be 180 degrees. It should be 180 degrees. It should be 180 degrees. So I've made the correction. It should be 180 degrees. So let's consider the trial question on the screen. You can pause the video and try your answer on the trial question 1. And the first question says that state the complement and supplement of the following angles. So A, we have 40 degrees, B, we have 10 degrees, and C, 95 degrees. Trial question 2 says that find the measure of each angle in the figure below. You can pause the video and try your answer on these questions. Okay, so I have provided a solution to the question 2. As for the question 1, I trust you can solve them. So let's talk about the question 2. So question 2, let's try the diagram A. The question says that we should find the measure of angles. So we are saying that from that particular diagram, the angles 6A and 3A sum together to give us 90 degrees. Why? Because there is a complement angle formed. So the sum of 6A and 3A gives 90 degrees. So when you sum 6A and 3A, we are getting 9A. Equal to 90 degrees. And when you divide both sides by 9, we get A to be 10 degrees. Thus, 3A will give us 30 degrees and 6A will give us 60 degrees. About the question B. Question B also, we have supplement angles. We are saying that 4K plus 6K will give us 180. Why? Because they form a supplement angles. So when we add 4K and 6K, we get 10k. So 10k equals 180 degrees. We divide both sides by 10 and we get k to be 18 degrees. Thus 4k give us 72 degrees and 6k give us 108 degrees. Right, so we will end our video lesson here. See you in the next video for the next subtopic, that is converting between decimal degrees, minutes and seconds. Please make sure you watch and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Thanks for watching. God bless you.